we move away from Knockhill in Scotland and head to East Midlands and Donington Park on the Grand Prix layout. It's time for qualifying, and let's head down to Tim Harvey and Louise Goodman.
Do this, I feel quite settled in the car already. I don't know how I feel. I've got 19 other cars around me, but it's all a learning progress. So I'm happy to be here. I want to bring that Team Bristol Street Motors car back in one piece because that's the least they deserve. If we can get some points along the way, then bonus.
A lot busier dashboard, a lot going on, isn't there, with countdowns and hybrid and everything else. Is it becoming second nature yet?
I wouldn't say second nature yet. No, I think, I can be half around a lap and feel like this lap feels good. And then you're like, oh, wait a second, I need to be on the hybrid as well. And you're forgetting about that. My fingers had never thought about doing stuff on the wheel or anything in the previous cars I've raced. So there's so much more to think about when you're going out there. You're working at a million miles an hour. Also, while you're trying to control a Hyundai that wants to kill you every second it gets.
Most important thing I think is to have fun, which is going to be difficult to do, I guess, because of all the focus. But it is important to remember the joy of this, isn't it?
100%. A few years ago, Mini Challenge, we just came back to it again and said, look, we want to come here and enjoy our racing. So much investment's gone into this. We started karting because we love racing, and that's why we do it. So I might be now stepping up to the big boys, but we still want to come here and enjoy our motor racing. And so far, this smile ain't going anywhere.
Best of luck. Best of luck. Have a fantastic weekend. Tim, let's take a wander because I can see. I think that's you were just gesticulating at, isn't it? Another man to grab a word with. Who, talking about enjoying the racing, did he give us a fantastic race 3 last time out at Knockhill?
I was saying during the race, what an absolute drive of a champion, and I know he loves compliments.
Especially from you, Tim. Especially from you. I know it's painful for you. I realise the pain.
No, I can respect and admire and fully appreciate what a fabulous drive that was going into that, because up against Ingram, a fired up Ingram, but you knew he had a championship in mind, but he knew you wanted to win the race. So some of the moves were showing intent to defend, some were, just to hold position, but you had pure pace in that race, and it was a great win.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, it's like you know what you're talking about, Tim. It's fantastic.
He's had a couple.
I know, and I obviously grew up watching Tim, so some of those moves might well have been Harvey inspired. You never know. It was a brilliant race. It was one of those races you get out of the car afterwards, and you just, you look at each other, me and Tingram looking at each other, and you just know it was fabulous. It was brilliant. It was absolutely on the limit of trying, pushing too hard, not making the mistakes. But you always know when you're racing with someone like Tom that, if you do get a clout from behind, it wasn't intentional. He will give you the room to come back, and that's the trust that great drivers have.
And I mean, does it show progress that you've made with the Toyota? I know you had some problems this morning, but does it show some real progress in the car?
Yeah, definitely. We worked really hard over the 4-week summer break. We lightened the rear end of the car, which has given us much less inertia in the car, makes the car more controllable. We've completely redone the throttle mapping on the car with MBE as well, which has, again, improved the car, the drivability of the car. So we've definitely gained a bit of time. We've definitely gained a lot of drivability. We're not quite where we want to be yet, but we've made great steps in the right direction.
Tim's just referenced the fact that you had a few problems in that session, as in the car sat in the garage, basically. What was the issue, first of all, and also how much of an issue is that? Because it was a bit of a damp session anyway. How much of a concern the loss of track time?
Yeah, I think, Knockhill is very demanding on cars, especially that certain chicane, which, as Tim was very kind to me about my line through there, that I managed to sneak in, in the middle of that race. And we've got a power steering issue, so we think we've effectively broken the rack. Not fully broken it, but we also knew that session, it was going to start wet. It might have dried, it might not have dried. It's the perfect time to change the rack. I don't believe anyone learned anything really significant in that session. I hope they didn't anyway. But the guys are doing a great job. They'll get the car ready for qualifying. We'll be on our way again.
What are your thoughts looking ahead to qualifying? I just have this vision here of you sitting in a pit lane going nowhere last time we were here. Obviously things have changed, but give us briefly your thoughts for looking ahead to qualifying.
Yeah, I don't want to see Sam in front of me in the pit lane again. We want to be able to get out there and do our best. A little bit different this weekend, saving of the tyres so far this year. We've saved one set, so we're going to have to use them strategically. We threw a set at it for Knockhill race 3 because we knew we were on pole. So yeah, we'll send it and see what happens.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you out there.
Thanks very much.
So qualifying is set to get underway. Road is drying a little bit. And these are the two groups based on the order at the end of free practice 2. Mikey Doble went fastest by 0.06 of a second on the last lap of the session. So he puts himself into Group 1 with Dan Camish, Andrew Watson, Aaron Taylor-Smith, Aidan Moffat, Tom Ingram, Sam Osborne, Scott Sampton, Nick Halstead and Tom Chilton. He spent time in the pits in FP2 changing the throttle body on the car. That's why he's a long way down. Group 2, Dan Rowbottom, Ash Sutton, Jake Hill, Chris Smiley, Adam Morgan, Colin Turkington, newcomer Dan Zelos, Darryl DeLeon, Josh Cook, who was in and out playing with tyres, really. That's why he was a long way back, not going for a time. And Rob Huff, who never got out at all, as you just heard. So two really interesting groups coming into this session. And, Tim Harvey, a track surface that's quite interesting because it's been really wet, dry, wet again, drying.
Exactly that, and very difficult for front-wheel drive cars because they need time to get the tyres up some temperature. They can see a drying line there before they cross them over. The rear-wheel drive cars will just stay out. I'm assuming that they will go out on slicks and try and build some temperature into them, but it's really touch and go.
Green flag on. The green light is showing and we are underway with part 1, group 1 of this session. And well, it was meant to be me all alone, but due to the long delay, if I press that button, we can welcome Joshua Birch up, who is in a weird position of co-commentator. Hello.
Hello. I don't mind it. I'm only here for like 20 minutes anyway before we head over to F1 Academy, where I will also not be commentating. So,
and where you
technically, I could join you for the whole thing. Yeah, I could join you for the whole thing, but things aren't set up. We've got other things to do. Yeah, because Megan leaving her alone to cover the equipment
is not a good idea, is it?
No. So yeah, here for the first 2 sessions, and then probably disappearing up before Group 3 and 4. But what a weekend we're having. Does feel a bit weird. I'm not there because I've been at the last 2 touring car things at Donington, Media Day and the opening round, and now they're at the Grand Prix loop and I'm not there. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of FOMO actually, but yeah, they're on the Grand Prix layout loop, but it's a fun circuit. I recorded something anyway that you'll see in the show tomorrow for when we launch into this one, but sun is out finally after having a bit of cloud, and it looks to be quite good, JT. And Tom Ingram leading the championship looks like he could also have a good weekend at a circuit where he dominated at the start of the year and in pre-season testing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's Tom Ingram going very fast down towards the hairpin. And why is that going so fast? Well, because I'm on two times and I'm catching up, and I'm at 7:53, 2:51,
yes,
and
linked
50.
up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As Ingram goes on.
Camish back in. Ooh.
But Camish going back through, as you mentioned.
I reckon he was on wet tyres and he's coming in for dries. Like the track's a lot drier than what they were expecting, because we've got this weird situation where it's in a crossover phase at the moment. So I reckon those on dries have stayed out, those on wets have dived in, changing over.
Yeah, I think that is what is happening as well. Also pitting is the 77 of Osborne and the 40 of Taylor Smith. They have also both come into the pit lane. Keep an eye on Taylor Smith as he is dominating the independent championship, but also keep an eye on teammate Mikey Doble in the 88. 6,000ths of a second was the gap in free practice 2 that he went fastest by, which puts both of the Vauxhalls in this group 1, and Doble being top in free practice 2 spiced up the rest of the groups.
Yeah, Doble really has been a bit of a dark horse, especially since we came back for where were we? Croft. We came back, I think. Yeah, ever since then he's been quite energetic.
After the summer break, then we went on to Knock Hill. Then
yeah, so they really have been quite close together again.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would have been at Knock Hill, then at Donington, so I would have done back to back. But Donington, I think we always knew that this one was never going to happen because of the clash. Yeah, the clash with F1 and touring and everything. So sadly, that happens. But Chilton's going to complete a lap time soon. They're out of hybrid power. It's classified as a B circuit, so you get more. As an A circuit, so you get less seconds of hybrid per lap compared to a B circuit. I'll cross the line, and Chilton Oh, hang on a minute. Ingram goes top, and then Ingram's gone second. So, okay, now it's swapped over again. ITV's graphics were wrong there, JT. We're on board with the wrong car. Ingram's top with Chilton second, Halstead third.
Yeah, just the first banker laps happening. Of course, on this drying circuit, I can tell you that air temperature's 15 degrees and the track temperature is 20 degrees, so only 5 degrees difference. Normally we have around a 10 degrees difference to air and track. Moffat does his lap time, and that was a very slow lap, 15 seconds off the pace, getting a warm-up lap done. And Doble has really spiced this up because 10 cars in each, 6 can go through, and we've got names like Ingram, Chilton and Osborne, Camish. That's 4. Then only 2 more can go through, and you've got to think of Taylor Smith, you've got to think of Doble, who have been strong in the Vauxhall, and then some big names could be knocked out in this group.
Yeah, and they've got to be really careful because it has repercussions across the whole championship if we do lose big names. And Donington is a circuit you can overtake at, but with the Grand Prix loop, as we saw last year when we raced here for the first time since the 90s, you can dive through on the inside quite nicely at the hairpin. So it provides like a lunge opportunity as they come through Goddard's.
Yep, in towards the final corner we go. Ingram will dive down to the left. I don't get why... Well,
I know.
I kind of get it. Why did I use that pit entrance?
And not the other pit entrance as well. I think it's because the other pit entrance, is it too small for a touring car?
I don't know. They use it for superbikes. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. F1 used it, I remember, but I don't know. F1 did use it when they were here in 93, but I don't know why they don't use that pit entrance. It confuses me as well. Maybe it's because it cuts off a couple of the garages. If you've been there, it cuts off a few.
Maybe. For some reason, having cars come through 2 buildings looks better than what they're doing there. I
can tell you why they don't.
Toka Technical.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was looking at where that was, and I was trying to remember what was there at the start of the year. It's Toka Technical. Yeah, and all the buildings there, and the, it's there as well, the ambulances and all the buildings. So they're all down that end of the paddock. So I bet that's why they didn't do it. Alan Gow doesn't want to have a touring car in his living room.
They've used that as an ambulance park and a safety. I bet they have the safety car, the medical car, an ambulance, and that special red and silver Toka rescue truck there alongside Toka Technical.
Certainly do you remember the start of the year when we were in that massive long delay and it wrecked all our plans and really did confuse us that day on the track side?
Wasn't it?
That was great fun, yeah. Mr. MotoGP.
Have you tried out
but no, I have not. I've still got wet feet, and I'm still wearing the same shoes as well. And they're still damaged from that day as well. Let me tell you. But yeah, that's where the medical car was parked, down there. That's because I was surprised Lou didn't go down there. I was in the garage at Napa, saw what was going on, saw the onboards, knew where they were coming in, and thought, I'll go down and have a look. And I spoke to the boss at Goodyear, and he said, yeah, we're going. Mini's out first, then it's touring cars in a 10-minute warm session. Yeah. So that's what happened that day. Weird day. Anyway, look at this.
Did we get the minis? I think they cancelled it and went straight into touring cars, didn't they?
No, we had 10-minute warm-up session for touring cars. Then we had a mini race, and then they swept the track again, and then we had race 1 for touring cars like 1 o'clock. Yeah. It's like 2 hours later than we planned. But the whole day was delayed. I got there at 9 a.m. and the whole day was delayed.
It's a good job we're talking about this because I noticed on the timetable that, of course, this is delayed due to the delay due to the Porsche, but scheduled today at 5:30 is the Rocket F4 British Championship 20-minute race in brackets round 3. So they are rerunning a race from the National on the Grand Prix.
Yeah, they did cancel the Air Force. Doble touches the side of Camish down at Melbourne Hairpin. Now that's going to be Doble. He's being a cheeky boy this weekend, isn't he? He's thrown through Camish and now they have to see what happens next. But yeah, they did cancel the F4 race, and they said they were going to run it here. That's why me and Rich John Neal had that conversation that day, because he was doing nothing.
Yeah, and up towards the line, Doble goes top. Oh! 1:42.456, and is that because the lap time was deleted for one car, or was that just a little bit of a glitch in the system?
Camish is out of it. Taylor Smith has gone up into 4th position as well. So there are improvements here. But Camish, Moffitt, Sumpton and Watson are in the drop zone. Holstead, Chilton, Taylor Smith, Osborne, Ingram and Doble through. So arguably, Camish, Moffitt, and I'd say Watson are the surprises to me not being included through. Even Scott, actually.
Yeah, and, well, Moffitt and Sumpton have not done a fast lap time. They're still 15 seconds off the pace, so they've left it right to the last moment. And I've just noticed that with 10 seconds left, so that has gone by quite quickly and completely lost track of time. Also, no lap time for Watson. Camish,
I think he's had his
4
deleted.
seconds. Yeah, I've not had any. The last race control message was 3:07. We're now 3:31. So
that might need a refresh.
No race control messages at the current moment. The last time I refreshed it was just before we went to the session, but I'll refresh it again. And it's just blank.
Through Fogarty.
Checkered flag is out.
Yeah. Camish looking. I just realised actually. I wonder if I can do any of the British Superbikes like I did World Superbikes in Donington. That might be something to keep an eye on.
They go there twice, I think.
I might be staying in Nottingham and going to Donington a lot more next year. That'd be quite fun. We'll have to get that calendar sorted together and see what we can do. Oh, big Twitch.
I've got a feeling Superbikes do the same as touring cars, 1 national, 1 Grand Prix.
Yeah. Now, Doble from Ingram, Camish 4th, Taylor Smith 5th, Chilton 6th. So that's assaulting. Moffitt is out. Taylor Smith goes through. Wow, JT.
So
this is
there's our first big name, and there is the second car to go into the pit lane instead of taking the checkered flag, and I believe that was the 7 of Holstead. Yes, it was. So Holstead is out, Sumpton is out. The last car across the line is Watson. Can he do anything? He improves to 9th. So it's Doble, Taylor Smith, Ingram, Osborne, Camish, Chilton, and then out is Nick Holstead, Aidan Moffitt, then Andrew Watson and Scott Sumpton down in 10th. But good to see the Vauxhalls once again, Josh, showing their pace here at Donington.
They are on fire, aren't they? They are really having a grip together. Of course, it's largely the same circuit as the National. All we use is the Fogarty S's, and then we use the Melbourne Hairpin and Goddard's. That's the last ones. So 3 extra corners, but Vauxhall are really fast now as well. Don't know if you want to throw down to ITV so we can have a break, but I don't know what you do when you're in charge.
I normally just waffle, but I have got the Superbike schedule up for this year to give you an idea.
Go on.
They normally have a test at the Grand Prix circuit, a 2-day test. Then they go into 17th to the 19th of May at Donington Park GP.
Right.
And then they return on the... Oh, so it is both Grand Prix. They've scrapped the National. And then in the showdown where they return, it's the penultimate round of the season, 27th to the 29th of September. That's this year's schedule. It changes, like, of course, last year. It was a bit different because this year they didn't decide to go to Navarra in Spain.
That is true, actually, yeah. I do have the audio if you want to listen to ITV instead.
Yeah. Do you want to do it or shall I do it?
If you can do it, you can do it. I thought you couldn't do it.
No. And we'll throw down to ITV and I'll do it so we can talk in the background.
Hey!
Down to ITV we go.
And those drivers in Group 2 will have been taking a really keen interest in those times and indeed what the track surface was like.
Well, they will have now seen that the quickest tyre to be on is the slick. They won't make that same mistake. The first group have been the guinea pigs. Let's hear what Lou has got to find out in the pit lane.
Well, I've come down to have a word with Dan Cammish. Dan, tricky session. That was the last gasp, do or die, wasn't it?
Honestly, the stress, it's unbelievable. I mean, could you have picked a worse time to have it go from wets to slicks? We've been so quick all day, and then you're faced with that whole new challenge of, are you on the right tyre when it really matters? I'm glad that we went with the slick. It was the right choice, but boy, is it treacherous. And the car, even at the end there, was like on ice. You know, when Doble caught me and passed me, you know, it's like he was driving a different animal. So much more grip and purchase than what I could find. I'm hoping now, hopefully the weather stays dry, the track gets fully dry, we can get some proper temp into the rear of the car, and then we'll have a better chance, because that just felt like, you know, please keep it on the tarmac, and also you need to speed up because you are out. So not a nice feeling, to be honest.
Your eyeballs are out on stalks.
It's a lap where you just know it's like, you know, I've got to be on the verge of dropping this car or we're going to be nowhere, but equally I need to get it to the line, and you know,
So Dan Cammish does breathe a sigh of relief.
Thank you to Louise that we heard there, and coming back up
Yeah,
to
the BMW is all
the box.
together, aren't they?
Yeah, Turkington, Morgan and Jake Hill, of course. Jake Hill suffering with food poisoning, but let's give you an idea of who's in this group. Sutton, Rowbottom, Turkington, Morgan, Hill, Zelos, Half Cook, Smiley and the Leon. And that there's something beeping down in pit lane.
You can hear that too?
Yes. I don't know
Sounds
what
like a truck reversing.
I don't know what it is, but I just thought it was a smoke alarm, so good stuff.
I can hear it beeping, yeah.
I mean, I'm not in the kitchen, so I can't burn the house down. Now, I very nearly did burn the house down a couple of times at 11 o'clock last night, but we won't talk about that. 7.5 minutes left.
I wasn't talking about it. Zelos, that should be good actually this weekend, coming in as a rookie.
Him. 3-time mini champion. He's not racing this weekend because it's the other mini challenge formula that is racing, but 3-time mini champion, including this year. I mentioned in Not Kill or Croft, or
you
one
did
of them,
on air, yeah.
On air. Why is Dan Zelos not in touring cars? Now this happened. So
literally 2 weeks later, he's in the car.
Yeah,
he's fully in.
It's only for this weekend though, so they are going to have to get another driver for Silverstone and Brands Hatch at the end of the year.
Jade. Put Jade in the car.
But if they do pick Dan Zelos, they've got to remember that he's clashing with minis on both of those rounds.
So it's going to be a long racing day for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think they should give it to? Andrew Jordan. Friend, of course, of Tom Ingram. So, yeah,
that's
it's easily
a
done.
name from the past.
Yeah, sorry, I just got thrown back completely. But, yeah, let's get Andrew Jordan back in for a weekend. Matt Neal.
They joked about it on ITV. Tim Harvey.
Tim Harvey. Maybe. I mean, I'm there at Brands Hatch. So are you, JT. Do you fancy taking the commentary and I'll go drive the car? I'm good friends with Accelerate, so let's see how that works.
Okay, I know what car to put some explosives on.
Morgan top, Turkington second at the moment. Hill third. So yeah, BMW is 1, 2, 3. In that order that they've been on the track as well.
Then Sutton and Huff. That's Smiley and Leon coming in as well. Of course, Huff. He's had problems for multiple meetings and multiple events now. And they've changed literally everything on the car and they still haven't done it. So in free practice 2, they decided, let's change the steering rack. Which means they had to take the engine out. Which means that was the end of his free practice 2. So that is Huff back in pit lane.
It's going to be fascinating to see how hard and quick they want to push on this one. As Morgan continuing to close at the exit. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Don't forget, NASCAR tonight, midnight, we're on air. Sorry, no, 12:30, isn't it? 12:30 we're on air. Yeah.
We're going back to that discussion, are we? That we had on
Yeah.
there.
The only good thing is it is on Abu Dhabi Sports, so we're good. And it's green flag all the way on USA as well.
Yes, and it's on Premiere, and I am going to have to set up my second laptop because I don't have OBS set up on that laptop, so I'm going to have to do IndyCar on the main setup.
Ah, I get you.
But, because it's a half midnight race, the lights will actually pick up.
Yeah. I was going to say, oh yeah, the lights will pick up, won't they? Yeah. I was going to say, as the BMWs continue to go 1, 2, 3, everyone's just changing over from wets to dries. I was going to say, you could have just taken the... I could have done it with Megan's laptop. But I then remembered something. How would Megan's laptop do the OBS, considering it'll be showing the TV pictures for NASCAR?
Oh, is that not on the is that not on the iMac?
No, Megan's laptop still provides the NASCAR pictures because we haven't got a cable for a display port for a second monitor yet to that MacBook. That is on the list to be done.
One of the millions of other things that you still
Millions
need to
of
get.
things. And,
Here comes Josh Cook.
There's a list.
Green sector 1, purple sector 2, and he is out the final corner going towards the line. He looks like he's had something on his radiator, but it's a 1:38.676. He goes fastest by 1.1 seconds, but hold your breath, because here comes Colin Turkington through the S's and up towards the Melbourne hairpin. He's got a purple sector 1, but a yellow sector 2, but also keep an eye on Morgan. Green sector 1, purple sector 2, but Cook is fighting back. Another purple sector 1. Rowbottom goes 4th.
Definitely going to try and push as hard as he can throughout this session as they fly through. Turkington takes a wide line into Goddard's. It's just starting to dry out there, and he's on the dry tyre, the medium compound, up towards the line. Morgan at 1:38, 1:39. Turkington at 1:40. So he's down in third. Jake Hill second as well.
Af Sutton, purple sector 1. He's going up towards the straight before the S's. Here he will go across the sector 2 line. And what is it? Up towards the line. Hybrid unavailable for the rest of the lap. It's a 59.571 sector 1 and sector 2 combined, which is a tenth faster with just under 2 minutes now on the session remaining. It's Morgan, Hill, Cook, Turkington, but keep an eye on Cook and Turkington. All I see no yellow at all on the timing screen on the TV. It's green and purple all the way.
Down we go. This should be quite interesting. Braking hard. Josh Cook, a 1:36.755. He's 1.3 quicker than Morgan. Insane lap time there. Sutton second.
Huff goes second, but gets knocked down by Sutton, as you mentioned. Sutton goes faster than Huff by 3 tenths. And was that a slide at the exit of Redgate?
Yeah, but look at Smiley. He's gone P6, and Turkington's out of hybrid on this lap. Rowbottom now goes P6. Turkington really in trouble.
De Leon goes 7th.
Do you remember Knock Hill, where it was Sutton and Cook and Ingram? They were all bad in qualifying, and it was Turkington who took pole position. Massive swing around now as Turkington goes second. Hill goes third. Cook goes fourth.
Dan Zelos backed off of his lap time. Due to track limits, he's now trying again, and for the final time in this session, his first British Touring Car qualifying. 35, 34, 33 seconds to go. And it's Af Sutton who's got the purple sector 1 and a green sector 2 who goes in towards the Fogarty S's now. We're following Huff, who is just in front of Sutton, going up towards the Melbourne Loop, and again, for the second time in this session, on flying laps, there's no yellow on the board.
This is looking good for Rob, with 10 seconds to go. So he'll take the checker flag. He's got, I think, Sutton just behind him. Rowbottom 2. So that's Sutton. There's Rowbottom. So here we go then. Out of the last corner, Cook goes up to second place. Turkington, I think, had a lap time deleted for that Manja. And we get now the checker flag out. Rob Huff goes top. Sutton. Well, this is going to be quite fun. Hill's got the fastest middle sector of anyone there, JT. But everyone's improving. Smiley stays 7th.
Yep. Now we're picking up Rowbottom. The graphics freezing on the left-hand side. They disappear now. Rowbottom across the line. And he improves on time, not position. And he drops to 9th as De Leon goes to 7th. Smiley to 8th. Dan Zelos improves on time, not position. Turkington goes to the top with a 135.3. Hold that hill. 135.278 by 98 thousandths of a second. And Cook is still on a lap time. He's going across the Sector 2 line now. It's a purple Sector 1. Is it a purple Sector 2? No, it's a green Sector 2 in towards the Fogarty S's.
Don't think he needs to improve. He can box and save the tyres ready for later, but he doesn't need to do it. He's already through safely. De Jong, Smiley, Robot and Zeos, they're out of it. So Josh Cook can just sort of say, and he's locked up now. Yeah, just bring it into the pit lane. Bring it in.
We'll see what Cook does. He's safe.
I'd box it, save the car. I think he's going to box it. Has to box it.
He doesn't.
Oh, I just saw that. Yeah. No, okay. He wants the extra lap while the data comes through. Oh, okay. Second. Fair dues.
Top 3 separated by 98 thousandths of a second. Top 2, 29 thousandths of a second. Let's go over and see what ITV have to say of the session, and we say goodbye to Josh, who has to leave for F1 Academy. See you later, Josh.
Practice. He's becoming the free practice king and not delivering in qualifying, isn't it? But with a full allocation and then Napa racing forward underneath him, he should have been able to get that through in the top 6. But it was a tough group, a lot of very quick cars in that group, but he'll be kicking himself, I'm sure. Dan Zelos, perhaps not surprisingly slowest of the group, an awfully big learning curve. And he hasn't done any laps on slick so far this weekend, apart from just scrubbing the tops off his tyres in a damp free practice. So not easy to find the limits of the car.
But he's not here necessarily to prove he's a hero. You know, in qualifying, 3 good races will impress the team more than maybe 1 lap in a difficult qualifying session. So, Jake Hill, Josh Cook, Colin Turkington, Adam Morgan, Ash Sutton and Rob Huff are the drivers who progress, and they were covered by just 0.6 of a second. Daryl De Leon out, so too Chris Smiley, so too Dan Rowbottom and Dan Zelos. So, Jake Hill goes through into Q2 for the 8th time this season. Josh Cook, who's been another regular, he makes it through also for the 8th time. So, in other words, he's made it through for each occasion. So too has Colin Turkington, who was 3rd in that group. Adam Morgan goes through. That's his 6th visit to Q2. For Ash Sutton, it's also an 8th. And for Rob Huff, his qualifying season has been a bit more difficult, and he's into Q2 for the 5th time. So, drivers looking up and down the pit lane, possibly wanting a weather update as well now from their engineers. Remember what Dan Camish said a little while ago, just over 10 minutes ago, about that blue sky now becoming grey once more. The British weather gods continue to tease at Donington. Remember how wet it was when we lost races and had those big delays back in April? Not suggesting it's going to be like that this weekend, but you just can't rely on anything, can you?
You certainly can't. But the one thing about this qualifying format is it relies a lot more on the team, the engineer, to give information based on what they found on other cars, how quickly they warm the tyres up, what the weather's doing. It's quite a team effort, this 3-part qualifying session.
True enough, yeah.
But we're still 2 seconds off the ultimate time. But Lou has more reaction in the pit lane from Dan Zelos.
Dan, as qualifying sessions go, they do not come much more difficult than that one, do they?
Yeah, definitely got thrown in the deep end there a little bit, and you know, I don't want to be throwing the new car I've been given for the weekend off in qualifying. So yeah, we're a bit off the pace, but it's my first dry running in the car. We're back in one piece, so now we can build on this for tomorrow.
You're sounding really frustrated, a bit despondent.
You know, I was hoping the rain was going to carry on, so I'd have felt so much more comfortable in the rain again after having this morning out and that. But, you know, and I always want to be on the pace straight away. I'm competitive, but, you know, this is where we're at. We've got work to do, stuff to learn, and we'll come back stronger tomorrow.
What was the car like in the dry? Because that was, you know, the first time you've experienced it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Quite sketchy, to be fair. Like, you know, I can tell the car's fast. I can tell that I've just got to adapt to it. So, you know, the team have done a great job today and have brought me on leaps and bounds throughout the day. So it's a big thanks to Team Bristol Street Motors to them. And we'll go and do our homework tonight, and I'll get a good night's rest, and we'll go full attack tomorrow.
I bet you don't get a good night's rest, but we'll see you out there tomorrow anyway. Back to you guys.
Dan Zelos then ends his first touring car qualifying session. Of course, whether we see him for the remainder of the season has not yet been announced. So hopefully we will, because the more mileage he does, the more he'll learn, the better he will become. And as Tim made the point earlier on, it's been such a long wait to get into the championship. It would be a real shame if it were just for one weekend. So, quick reminder, Q2 is imminent. It will be 10 minutes again. And this time the road just slightly busier. 12 cars we will have with those top 6 from the 2 groups going head to head. Engines are firing up in the pit lane. The green flag is imminent to get this next part of the session underway. And from 12, it is 6 that will go through. Daryl De Leon, one of those that just missed out in the Duckham's Racing with Unlimited Motorsports, new slightly tweaked name for the team this weekend. But the Cooper, I'm afraid, not quite into that top 6, but Daryl De Leon went well here back at the start of the season. And that's a team that has been getting better and better as the season has worn on, and came oh so close to an independence win at Knock Hill. Won on the road and then failed the dreaded ride height test, and that was therefore given the win to Scott Sumpton. Jake Hill then is good to go. And on instruction, the cars will be pulled back into the fast lane, and qualifying is going to be back underway then. 10 minutes, Q2. Everybody looking at their watches, everyone waiting for the signal of the klaxon, of the green light at the end of the pit lane, and then we'll be in business. Let's go, say the teams.
And we get that now. And Q2 is underway. 12 cars, 6 go through. We half the field at the end of this 10 minutes. And, well, Josh Birch looks a little bit different, as he's changed to wind direction and wind speed out there as well, and it's northwest at 4.9 miles per hour, and that has gone down quite a bit from earlier on in free practice 1. Let's go through who's in this session. It's Sutton, Osborne, Camish, Turkington, Morgan, Hill, Ingram, Chilton, Cook, Doble and Taylor Smith. 3 Fords, 3 BMWs, 3 Hyundais, 2 Hyundais, 1 Toyota, and 2 Vauxhall are out in this one. Keep an eye on literally everyone in this session. Anyone could get in this top 6, and this is gonna be dramatic. Just wait, and in around 8 minutes time, this is gonna get very interesting indeed, as every single one of these 12 drivers have been looking very strong. 11 cars only out on track. We're meant to have 12, and it is Huff. But let's go down and talk with Louise quickly.
You were expecting or hoping a lot more from that session.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a lot from today. Really, we've saved a lot of soft tyres for the, for the new qualifying regulation. We've got a load of hybrid, and we can't put it to use. So I don't know what happened. We were really quick all morning in the wet, but as soon as we put the slick tyre on, then we just really struggled for rear tyre temp. I think I could have drove around all day and not found enough temp to do the times that we needed to do. So I don't know at the minute. We've got to look at the data and see what the difference is. But the car felt okay, just really loose,
Well, and I was going to say, what is the impact? But that's it, isn't it? If you haven't got the rear temperature in the tyres, you've just got no grip there.
No, and the problem is when it's like that, it's a never-ending cycle of problems, because you can't push, you can't keep rear tyre temp, so the temperature is not getting any more or any less. It's staying stable, but not enough. So I don't know. We'll have to look at the data. It's obviously really disappointing, but we've had bad weekends before. We'll have to try and come back.
Hope for a better one tomorrow.
Thank you.
Dan Rowbottom there in pit lane, and of course the 12th car still in pit lane is Rob Huff, and he's been having issues for multiple meetings. They changed the steering rack earlier on in free practice 2, so hopefully we'll be able to see him out. So that of course makes it 3 Fords, 3 BMWs, 2 Hyundais, 2 Toyotas and 2 Vauxhalls out on track. Down towards the S's goes Tom Ingram. Af Sutton about to complete his next lap, his first opening lap. Tom Ingram goes in towards the Melbourne hairpin, exits the hairpin up towards Goddard's, up the hill, and then dips down towards the hairpin, then gets on the hill a little bit as he exits the other side, and then down the hill in towards turn 1, and Tom Ingram pits. Morgan 139.686. Turkington 8.5 tenths down. He slots into second. Hill completes his first installation lap. Ingram, Chilton are the cars in pit lane. Huff has come out on track. His problems for now have seemed to go. Sutton out of the old hairpin through Starkey's Bridge and up towards the far end of the circuit. It's a purple sector 1. He's used 2.6 of 5 seconds of hybrid, and he goes up the hill. Down the straight towards the S's and the Sector 2 line. It's a 57.911 combined Sector 1 and Sector 2 time. His Sector 2 purple gets taken away by the 20 of Colin Turkington, who still has a little bit of hybrid, whereas Sutton does not have any hybrid for the rest of this lap. Osborne and Camish start their first lap times of this session. It's going to be Sutton in front of Turkington going across the line. Cook takes this purple sector 1. Here comes Sutton up towards the line. He goes top with a 134.577. Turkington 134.186. He's fastest by just under 4 tenths of a second. They are your first two competitive lap times. And your second competitive lap time is coming from the 66 LKQ Euro car parks with Synetic entry of Josh Cook. He's already used all of his hybrid and he's going up towards the S's. And he's 0.111 of a second down in his sector 1 of 2 times. As we get the blue screen of death for multiple seconds as we return to Josh Cook's onboard feed now, and he exits the hairpin up towards Goddard's. He goes. Osborne, Camish in their final sector as well of their first lap, but it's Josh Cook who is coming across the line first. He's had his purple sector 1 taken away by the BMW of Adam Morgan. It's Cook across the line, 134.192. He goes second by 6 thousandths of a second, and he's got a purple sector 3 to his name. Osborne 5th with his first installation timed lap. Morgan down in towards the hairpin. He'll be in the next time with a competitive lap time to go across the line. Huff 4th, Doble 4th. They're all starting their competitive lap times now. 3 minutes left in this session. Adam Morgan 5th, purple sector 1, and Adam Morgan, massive lock up into the S's, and that was Colin Turkington, sorry, who went through the gravel down there at the S's. A massive lock up in towards the left-hander of the S's, and had to cut the corner. Had to cut the second part of the S's, the right-hander that directs you up towards the hairpin. Doble, purple sector 1. Keep an eye on him. Cook has got a yellow sector 1, but he's got a purple sector 2. Doble is 53 thousandths down on Colin Turkington, so that predicts him third. He's currently 5th. You need to be in the top 6 to go through. Cook goes fastest, 1:33.942 by quarter of a second. Cook is up there. Doble, keep an eye on him. Osborne 9th, 1:37.136. Camish 7th. Doble out the final corner, up towards the line. Hybrid unavailable. Where will he go? He goes second, 1:34.090. He's slower by 1.5 tenths. Ingram 4th, 1:34.561. He's 6 tenths off. He's still got a minute and 20 to improve. The bollard at the Craner Curves has been knocked over and is on the grass on the inside. It's way off the circuit, but there's now no bollard at the first part of the Craner Curves. Dan Camish next on a lap time. Hill goes 4th. That knocks Ingram down to Ingram. Turkington currently in 3rd. He's just gained a purple sector 1. He needs to gain quarter of a second to go back up to the top spot. Currently in the danger zone is Huff, Morgan, Camish, Taylor Smith, Osborne and Chilton. Some big names in there who are at risk of being eliminated. And on the bubble is Ash Sutton. Dan Camish, he's 4.5 tenths down on the sector 1 and sector 2 times. He's currently 9th. He will still get into the top 6 if he stays here. Turkington, purple sector 1 and purple sector 2. He takes that purple sector 2 away from Tom Ingram, who had it. It'll be Tom Ingram who goes across the line first, and it'll be Colin Turkington behind. But Adam Morgan, he's currently 8th, has got a green sector 1 and green sector 2, and the computer is estimating in P1. Camish goes 5th. Morgan in the hairpin. Goes up towards Goddard's, and the checkered flag is out. Ingram, 1:33.850. He goes top by 92 thousandths of a second. Here comes Morgan across the line. Turkington, 1:33.918. He goes second. Where does Morgan go? He goes 6th. He's on the bubble. Sutton in towards Goddard's at the final corner. Takes the apex nicely. Gets the apex. Gets the exit curb nicely. Sutton from 9th goes to 4th, knocks Jake Hill out, who is suffering from food poisoning and not feeling 100%. Camish and Osborne still pushing. Camish, Huff, Osborne in the drop zone, not completed their laps yet. It's Hill, Morgan, Chilton who are confirmed out. Dan Camish in towards the hairpins. 2 corners left, but he's got traffic. He's got Josh Cook, who gets out the way. Dan Camish in towards the hairpin. He has to improve. He's currently 9th. He needs to be 6th or above. Where does he go? Osborne 12th. He's confirmed out. Dan Camish 9th. He does not improve. So that's 2 nappers of the 3 out. Huff, last one to take the flag, and he does not improve. Cook, last one to take the flag in the qualifiers, and he is safe. So it's Ingram, Turkington, Cook, Sutton, Doble, Taylor Smith who go through to the top 6. Then it's Hill, Morgan, Camish, Chilton, Huff and Osborne out of this qualifying session. Let's go down to ITV.
But of course we know what can happen in the last 6, and we know what can happen in those BMWs once we go racing. Ingram, though, very good lap that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With only the minimum of 1 second of hybrid. Wow, did he deliver a good lap.
And should we wave the flag briefly as well for Evans Halshaw with Power Max Racing? Both of the Vauxhalls are through, 5th and 6th, but they're through. Mikey Doble and Ara Taylor Smith. That whole package really is clicking this year. 2 very quick drivers. The cars have been reliable. They've had lots of Jack Sears Trophy and independent wins as well over the course of the year. And there's a spring in the step of that team as a collective that we've not really seen too much of in the past few seasons. It's a bit of a mixed bag of emotions, no doubt, at Napa Racing. Sam Osborne gone, Dan Camish gone, Dan Rowbottom had already gone, and Ash Sutton is the only one then that makes it through.
And the one with the least amount of hybrid.
Yes, just to rub it in.
Once again, Sutton showing his real quality.
68 thousandths were between Tom Ingram and Colin Turkington, and they go through into Q3. So does Josh Cook and Ash Sutton and Mikey Doble, joined by Aaron Taylor-Smith. Jake Hill, gone. Adam Morgan, out. Dan Camish, done. Tom Chilton sits out Q3 as well. So does Rob Huff. So does Sam Osborne. And we've got 10 more minutes for 6 drivers to determine the first 6 places on the grid. The road is drier than it has been all session. It'll be quicker than it has been all session. And as ever, there are some hard luck stories, but these final 10 minutes are going to be really interesting.
Now, lap time's just 7 tenths away from last year's pole time, so we're pretty much there, aren't we?
Almost there, yeah. So Jake Hill, who's suffering from food poisoning this weekend, second in the championship, gets out of the car. It's been a tough day all round, and being bumped out of qualifying won't make it any better for him. But he's mid-grid, could be worse, I suppose.
It could be worse, but it's in the potential danger zone for incidents. That's always the worry, and that's what the hybrid system was designed to do, wasn't it? To handicap those coming into the next race high up in the championship. Doesn't seem to have hurt Ingram and Sutton quite as much, does it?
No,
but it does definitely have a big effect.
Now let's go to the pit lane and hear the thoughts of a disappointed Jake Hill. He's with Louise.
A disappointed and still feeling pretty rough, Jake Hill. It's been a tough old day for you, hasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But no, I mean, I'm still fairly happy with that. You know, P7 is not too bad. We're right on the edge of getting into Q3 there, but yeah, we just didn't have enough soft tyres to throw at it.
Was it just the soft tyres, or how much? Because I know you've been sleeping half the day. You're really not feeling very well. That must be making life difficult as well.
Yeah, I think so. When you're in the car, you don't notice it so much, but yeah, it's nice. But you know, when you get out, it feels like you've been hit by a train. So yeah, it's not the best feeling I've ever had, but hopefully we'll come back and we'll be fighting fit tomorrow. What
are your thoughts looking ahead to tomorrow? I mean, it's the first kind of dry running we've had, but where do you think the car's going to be at?
Car feels good. You know, I just you know, I don't know how many softs the front wheel drive guys had, but obviously being a front wheel drive car, you can just front to rear them, and the fronts are like brand new again. So we tried to risk it with going on the same set of tyres for Q2, and the rear just started to break away, and I just didn't have enough grip underneath me, really. But, you know, I think the car's in a really good place. It feels great to drive, so I'm sure in the race tomorrow we'll be all right.
So with hindsight, if you played your tyre strategy differently, could we have had a very different outcome here?
Yeah, I think the risk was, you know, in Q1, so many people went soft and we didn't want to risk getting knocked out. So, but obviously Adam got through in Q1 on the mediums. So in hindsight, it would have been, you know, a good idea to go mediums for the first one. But you just don't know what the offset's going to be and how much faster the soft's going to play a part. So we had to play it safe, you know. And ultimately, it's not ended up bad. P7 is really not that bad at all. So let's just hope the others finish 5th and 6th in this one.
I'll let you go lie down with a cold towel.
Thank you.
So Jake Hill, you can tell he doesn't look well either, but his qualifying is done, and he didn't miss out by that much. In that last part of the session, Colin Turkington with 2 absolute best sector times, 1 for Tom Ingram, but it was Tom Ingram that did the best lap. Not the pole lap yet, because we need to see what happens out of Q3. 6 drivers then are good to go. The sun is breaking through, the road is continuing to dry, and this should be the fastest part of the qualifying hour. There at Power Max Racing, the mechanics ready to pull back the cars to get them onto the pit lane, and Q3 is but moments from getting underway, and you've seen how rapidly that time flies. So we're almost good for the final part of qualifying. This new system for this year, which has been a big hit, I think, with the drivers and with the teams, and the green flag is shown. We're back in business.
Yeah, the only issue for me is we just do...
Absolutely, green flag is flying, and we are underway. It's 1 Ford, 1 BMW, 1 Hyundai, 1 Toyota, and 2 Vauxhalls in this one. And the Vauxhalls have been looking strong. The East Midlands Airport Air Traffic Control Tower looking on in the background as the runway lines up with the front stretch if you look at it on a map. Of course, a major hub for deliveries and commercial, and even the Rolls-Royce historic flight with Spitfires and P-51 Mustangs as well. So a really big airport with all kinds of different types of aircraft as well. Already a minute gone in this final session. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. You can see all the gravel that was kicked up by Colin Turkington in the final session. The whole of the track is covered with gravel. The only part that isn't is the racing line, because all of the gravel that was on the racing line has already been kicked off the racing line as well. Cars just warming their tyres up, getting ready to go for their first lap times. We'll see if they are an installation lap or a fast lap. They should be installation laps at first. And out on track is Sutton, Turkington, Ingram, Doble. The two cars which choose to pit is Cook and Aaron Taylor-Smith. So the two Evans, Howshaw, Paramax racing cars. One pits, one goes through. So they are on alternate strategy for that one. Turkington, road to himself, and he is charging on. Purple sector 1, as he is the first car to set a lap time in this one. It's a 57.561 combined sector 1 and 2 time. He's already used all of the hybrid way before he got to the S's, so he is on pure pace now. No hybrid to help him as he goes in towards the hairpin. Then up the hill towards Goddard's Colin Turkington goes. And both up towards the timing line they go. Colin Turkington and Sutton. It's Colin Turkington first. It's a 1:34.234. And it's a 1:33.768 for Sutton. 4 2/3 of a tenth exactly is the gap. 0.466. And everyone starting to come into the pit lane.
Having those tyres crossed. And he's on the limit again, isn't he? This is another serious push by Colin Turkington. You can see the way the car is moving around to know that he's fully committed to this.
Turkington
the attitude, as we call it,
pushing,
of the car.
pushing, and
up,
pushing.
Typical Colin, precision lap everywhere. Just teetering on the edge of braking adhesion, just a perfectly balanced driver.
Absolutely charging.
At one with his car.
Wind is
it's always
starting
lovely
to
to watch.
gust, and it's gone
Whether or
to
not this is
8
the
miles
quickest lap
per hour
or not,
now.
it's still a pleasure to watch. Look at the inch-perfect line through there.
So 8 miles per hour
Another
the
absolute
wind
best within the middle
up
sector,
towards
even though he was down a touch
10.9.
within
It's
sector
just
1.
gone,
Big
as
flash
you
of the
can
lights.
see
That means
on
there's a
your
car ahead, and
screen.
it's to warn the driver.
Turkington
approaching,
flashing his
and it's one of the
lights,
Vauxhalls that he's going to come
and
across
it's Taylor
in a moment,
Smith
which is
who
going to be
is in
by
front,
the Mikey
and Taylor
Doble
Smith keeps to the
car,
left.
I think, as he comes up past
Turkington
Aaron
goes
Taylor
to the
Smith
right,
is that slots back in
and
behind
Taylor
him now. So
dives back to the
down
racing line.
through
Turkington
the
passes.
left of Goddard's.
Down
Turkington
through
aims
Goddard's.
to go
Exit
quicker
of Goddard's.
again. Now remember, it was
Keeps
a
in track
34.2,
limits.
but Sutton went
He needs to
faster
be at
anyway.
first 3.7. He does. It's a 1:33.569
just under
faster.
2/10 ahead of Ash Sutton. But for how
By
long? Josh Cook meantime heads up
0.199,
towards
nearly 2
McLean's
tenths
corner.
of a
Remember now, the
second,
front-wheel
halfway
drive
through,
cars all cross their
with
tyres,
nearly
and
4.5
once
minutes
round,
left
and
on
then
the
they're
clock.
on
It's
their
4
flyers,
minutes,
and we're
35
on
seconds,
board with Josh Cook
24 and
coming
33
out of McLean's,
seconds
going up to
left.
Coppice.
Josh Cook going up
turn in before
towards
you can even
Coppice.
see the apex there, but
Then
the
down the back
modern
stretch.
BTCC car carrying that inside curve beautifully.
He
Doesn't
uses
upset
his
the car
hybrid.
at
Does he
all.
use it all or does he save some? He
Hybrid
uses
used
it all.
for Josh Cook. You can see the
Hybrid
clock counting down
unavailable
through
for the rest
time
of
available. So it's
this
all done.
lap,
Really
and
2/3 of the way
1.5
through the lap.
tenths
Still
down.
quite a chunk of lap without the hybrid available.
Estimated
So
3 on his
the drivers
first
decided
lap
when it's best
time.
to use it, but they're not using any to, for example, drag themselves out of this hairpin with that climb or out of the last
4
corner.
minutes
All done
left
before they
on
hit the
this
Grand Prix
session.
Yeah, I think they're using it coming out of Redgate.
Taylor Smith
and
also on his
particularly coming out
first
of the
lap
old
time.
hairpin, 'cause that's the
Same
longest
with Cook,
stretch
Ingram and
of uphill
Doble
that they face.
on
So,
their out
11
laps, getting ready to
seconds
start
of
their
use for
first
Cookie, but
lap
he's used it
times.
all up. If you've got 50,
Aaron Taylor
you've probably
Smith
got a bit
estimated to
left
go
for that
third
last
as he
bit.
goes
You could have
across the
used it on the
second
qualifying
sector
lap.
line
It's
in towards the
different
third
from
sector.
using
We
it in the
go.
races.
Josh
Over the
Cook
line
across
goes
the
Josh
line,
Cook,
green
goes
sector 1,
second,
green
then
sector 2.
Turkington Cook sasses the
Purple
order.
sector 3,
Aaron Taylor
it's a
Smith at the moment is sixth, but he's
1:33.627
not
for
yet
Josh
got a
Cook.
lap
Next
time
to
out
go
of the
across
car.
the
3.5
line.
minutes still
Aaron
to
Taylor
run.
Smith in the
Aaron
Evans
Taylor
House
Smith
Power
is
Max
looking quick.
Racing
He's used all
Vauxhall.
of his hybrid now.
He's
Remember, he
used
had
all of his
15
hybrid
seconds
and
worth,
he
and
is
he left
heading
a bit for
down
the loop.
towards
Yeah, you saw the
final
blue
hairpin at
flashing there.
Gollards.
He
Exit
used a
of
couple of
Gollards.
seconds, 2 or 3
And
seconds
he
coming
heads
out the hairpin.
towards
Where's this lap going to put Aaron Taylor's fourth?
the line, and he goes 4th with a 1:34.2.
So we'll see how it all translates. Once 6 lap times
2:41.
have been recorded. 3 minutes of qualifying remain. Colin Turkington is the fastest for the moment.
Josh Cook
You're on board with
had a
Josh Cook,
purple
who's just
sector
set
1,
the
but
fastest first
Doble
sector.
has taken
Well, he
it
had
once
until that
again.
was beaten by
Mikey Doble in the
who's further
Vauxhall
back on the circuit,
that has been
but very
doing magical
close indeed,
things
both
this
on a
year
20.4,
is
4.948
purple once
for,
again.
Doble.
We
So
could
very
have a
competitive
Vauxhall on
times. This is
pole.
going to be a good lap.
Josh Cook then comes down now towards the S's. Flick left,
It
flick
is
right. There is Mikey Doble coming
a
up through Coppice. That double apex right. And 2.5 minutes are on the clock. It's a good lap by Cook. It's certainly a good start.
First
to that
sector,
by Mikey
he's
Doble.
exiting Coppice down
heading
towards
up
the straight.
now
He's got
towards the end of that
2.8
middle
seconds of
sector.
hybrid left.
It was a personal best there
It's
for
a
Cook.
personal best green
for
sector.
Doble as
He's
well.
31 thousandths down. Mikey Doble is
So
still
the
in it. He's
flick
estimated
over the
second
S's
at this current
goes down
moment.
now
Ingram,
towards
green
the
sector 1, green
Melbourne
sector
hairpin.
2. He's just
over
behind
2 minutes
Doble
of the session to go. Cook second.
on
heading up towards
the
timing
timing
line now. Let's see
stream.
what he can do then as the car breaks the beam. And Josh Cook is fastest. 1:33.498.
Josh Cook 1:33.498.
Thousandths up on Colin Turkington.
Next up is Tom
Having done
Ingram.
the fastest last sector of everyone, the 36.
Tom Ingram goes third, 1:33.677. Next up it's Mikey Doble. Purple sector 1, green sector 2. He's 31,000 down at sector 2. He goes third, 1:33.637. 0.139 of a second down. He's still got time for 2 more laps, just if they're 2 fast push laps with 1:33 left on the clock now.
Covering the 6 that are in this group.
Very, very tight. On board with Sutton.
Next up
Through
to
that
go
first
across
sector,
the line is
running
Josh Cook,
painfully
who
wide
goes
there.
across the second sector
Getting
line
there's a
now up
sensor there,
towards
but that
turn
was on
9
the absolute limit. I think he
of
slowed
this
down. He knows he's blown that lap, so he slowed
Donington
down.
Park GP
Doesn't want to slow down too
2.49
much, or he won't
circuit.
get
1
another lap
minute
in.
left on the
So
clock.
Josh Cook is fastest. Ash
And
Sutton
Ash Sutton
fifth,
is
but he's
pushing.
got just
Green
about enough
sector
time to
1.
go again. Tom
What
Ingram,
is
in the meantime,
green?
you're riding on
Is it
board with now. He's
green? No,
coming
it's
down
yellow. It's
towards
yellow
the
sector
Grand
2
Prix
for Ash
loop.
Sutton.
Flicks
He's
between
5.5
the
seconds
task
down, so
stands
he
over
is
the
backed
curb.
off.
And now down towards the Melbourne
Must
hairpin.
have
This is
had a
looking
mistake
good
of
from
track
Ingram.
limit somewhere,
Although the middle sector
but
not
he
quite
has
as quick as
a
it had been
time to
earlier
go
on.
once
Lock
more.
up, lock up
Ingram
there,
on
but he
his
makes
lap,
the
locks up,
apex. He
going
hasn't
down in
lost
towards
any
the
time
Melbourne
at all
hairpin.
with that. Donington has always been
And
really good
it's a
to
green sector 1, yellow
Ingram in
sector 2
terms
for
of
Tom Ingram
results.
in the Team
Very
Bristol Street
successful
Lotus
here.
80
Remember,
car.
he won 2 races
as
here
he
earlier
heads
this year on the
in
short
towards
circuit.
the
But
Gollards
he's also
hairpin
won
at
on the
final
long
corner
circuit here
out
last
of the
year, the
final
second
corner.
race.
After that disappointment in race 1, after the penalty with the
And
incident
across
with
the
Jake Hill.
line.
Over the line goes Ingram, doesn't improve, stays 4th. 20 seconds to go. He gets another lap out of this. But have his tyres had their best? This is Turkington now, and
that
he
is
is second, and he's not
improving on
improving in that
time,
middle
but
sector
not
either. So it looks as though Turkington may
position.
miss out on a 31st career pole.
Yeah, may well be.
5
Just had
seconds
the
to
best
go.
out
Colin
of the tyres.
Turkington, will he take the flag or will he get another lap? He gets another lap. He stays second
second, so he'll get one more push.
Yeah, see, it looks like he is still pushing. You can tell he will have a delta on his lap, on his dash, telling him whether he's up or down on the lap. So at some point round this lap, he'll decide to either carry on or abort it.
Cook, in the meantime, looks as though this is going to be pole position, a 4th of his career, if he can hang on in there. 71 thousandths quicker than Colin Turkington, and with yellows, not greens, and certainly not purples in the sectors, it looks as though we have an order.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. I won't preempt it, but Cookie, with his 11 seconds of hybrid, has used it very well indeed.
Let's see if he can make anything
right
out
down
of
onto
it.
the ground there as he hits the brakes hard, coming down to the Melbourne hairpin.
He did run wide though. You saw he missed the apex there, so that was just a bit too late. He's lost time
Sutton
there.
is 0.106 down at the second sector timing beam.
Sorry, he's gone through the sector.
That could put him in third. He's estimated third, but he needs to get on the pace if he wants to improve. Turkington comes out of nowhere with a yellow sector 1, but then a purple sector 2.
Sutton 5th.
Is that yellow sector 1 quick enough though?
Turkington is yet to finish his session, so there's some more shuffling in the offing. One or two drivers have been able to respond right at the very end.
Final corner
even
up
if it's
towards
not
the line.
In every
Sutton's
sector,
currently
they can
5th.
get a good
He only
one,
improves to
and
4th
Sutton
with
is one of those improvers.
133.
He's up to 4th.
0.667 now across the line. Here comes Colin Turkington. Yellow sector 1, purple sector 2.
Sector, but no, ends up second fastest. Still misses out on
doesn't
pole.
improve on
so
time.
Josh Cook has done
so
it.
it's Josh
Career
Cook on pole for the 4th time in the British Touring Car Championship. Colin Turkington misses out on another pole by 71 thousandths of a second.
And that will be his first Toyota position as well, won't it?
First
switched to the Speedworks operation.
Sutton,
the
fourth
LKQ Euro car park
in 6th. In the second Vauxhall, of course, that is Josh Cook's first pole position in the Toyota car, 4th career.
He'll be a happy man.
Of course, we'll wait for the interviews.
So Cook, Turkington, Doble, Sutton, Ingram, Taylor Smith, the order.
We'll get the full result
and yet
confirmed,
again, it delivers a very interesting
ITV, Tim Harvey, David Anderson.
And you may already have said it, but of course, local team, Speedworks.
Local-ish, yes. It's the Toyota bit that's the local. They're based in Derby, whereas Speedworks is closest to Alton Park. But yes, it's another home race. They claim it as a home race, because of the Toyota manufacturing plant in Derby. You're quite right. So Donington matters for Toyota, just as it does at Alton Park. So there'll be one or two frustrated drivers from those 6, never mind those that missed out on getting into Q3. But Ash Sutton just ahead on that grid of Tom Ingram. Going to be a good fight between those tomorrow. And Josh Cook then setting himself up very nicely indeed. Now, of course, we've been talking about tyres and carryover and compounds for all of this. Race day.
Forget all this.
Absolutely.
They're all
one
on,
compound.
They're all on one compound, the medium compound, the yellow sidewall Goodyear. We've had such a roller coaster of tyre performance at the last couple of races, with the soft and the medium and the hard in play, and a big disparity in performance, which we've seen. Some fans have liked it, some haven't, but tomorrow we're going to see what it's like when everyone's on the same tyre.
Indeed so. The ride height check has been done for Josh Cook. Now the car goes onto the scales, and then once the technical team is happy, the car will be released, and Josh Cook will fire up the engine, drive it away from the scales, which will be used to check the cars in the queue behind. And once he's arrived at his parking bay, then we can no doubt in a few moments hear from Josh Cook. Mikey Doble, Colin Turkington and Josh Cook, between them, claimed the absolute best sector times, but it was Josh Cook who put the lap together the best. And for the first time as a Toyota driver, it is a pole position. And the season is building nicely, isn't it? The further you go through the year, the stronger it gets for him, and indeed for others within the Toyota camp. But Josh Cook coming into the weekend 6th in the championship. There'll be a point for pole position, and standing there ready to say well done is Aidan Moffat, already in civvies. But he and Josh get on very, very well, and it's good that Aidan is the first one across to say well done. And others from the team are there as well, including Mick Cook, his engineer. Right, let's just have a recap of the order then. Josh Cook, the fastest in Q3. Colin Turkington, second quickest. The margin between them, 71 thousandths of a second, with Mikey Doble third. Ash Sutton, fourth. Tom Ingram, fifth. Aaron Taylor-Smith, sixth. And just a whisker over 4/10 of a second, covering those 6 drivers. So Josh Cook has done it. It's a 4th career pole, the first time he's got pole position aboard a Toyota. there's much to discuss with Louise.
Yeah, and Josh quickly taking his helmet off, because as you've probably been seeing, pretty much everybody on the team has come up to say congratulations, well done. I'll add it from me as well. Congratulations, your first pole as a Toyota driver at Toyota's home circuit. So that's ticking all sorts of boxes.
Yeah, it's good. The car was really good. Obviously, I've got no idea where you are relatively to everybody. But yeah, it was really good. I could just make it do what I wanted. I could make it dance around and get a lap time out of it. So yeah, still got to catch my breath. It's a bit, it was all going on inside the car.
We were having a conversation this morning for a little feature that people will be able to see in our race show tomorrow about the fact that this car is really getting to where you want it. It's doing what you want it to do, isn't it? So that bodes really well for race 1, well, and probably race 2 and 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, of course, making the changes to give me what I want is really crucial for any driver that's driving the car. But yeah, it's still a case of making sure that we hit the spot with the car and we go the right direction at the right time. I mean, the guys in the pit stops there, you know, we were in Q2, and to get through to the final part, we quickly did a bunch of setup changes on the car that, you know, it was super close for getting it done. So credit to the team for really turning that round really quickly. Otherwise, I don't think we would have quite had that edge. So yeah, really happy, really pleased with the team, but we need to convert this tomorrow now.
Well, generally speaking, that was a tricky session to manage, wasn't it, with the way that the conditions changed throughout the different sessions?
Yeah, it's one of those times where it's risk versus reward, and you know that you've got to be on the track at the end when it's at its best to produce the lap. And you know, around here, the high-speed sections, if you run a couple of inches wide, you're on the wet stuff and you're just a passenger. So it's so easy to make a mistake. It's just picking the right times to push and try and extract some time out of the car. And so many times we get it wrong, but luckily for today, it went really well. So you know, I'm really pleased for us as a team with you know, LKQ and Cinetic. It's great for us to be at Donington on pole position.
Well done, spot on, 4th career pole. Let's go down and grab a word. Oh, where's he disappeared to? With the man who is going to... No, I can't. No sign of Colin Turkington. Do we know where Colin Turkington has disappeared to? Well, I tell you what, let's go over and grab a word with Mikey Doble. There's Colin Turkington. He actually hasn't come through yet. So I'll go through and grab a word with Mikey Doble instead, finishing P3 in that session. Mikey, you threatened to get a really good result in FP2. We saw earlier on that the car was quick, but delivering that when it counts is a different matter, isn't it? Well done.
Thank you. I mean, like in FP1 and FP2, I knew we were strong, but you never really know what everyone else is doing until you get into qualifying. So to see that pace transpire into a quali result as well is, you know, a massive relief, and you know, mega happy for us and the team.
How tricky was it to manage that, not just that session, but the whole of qualifying?
Q1 was particularly difficult because it wasn't fully dry at the time. As I said, we was quick in those conditions earlier, and I managed to finish P1 in my group. After that, Q2, Q3, it was nearly dry, but obviously we've had no data from earlier on in the day to have a clue where we're at. So, no, it was fantastic, and the car was great.
I mean, I was just talking with Josh about the fact that, you know, he's got his car really where he wants it, but this car of yours, it's just been one of the standout cars of the year, really. You are one of the standout teams of the year, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll take that. No, I mean, the journey that Aaron and I have gone on in the last couple of years to work with a team and pick them up from where they were at the start of last season to where we are now, you know, both cars in the quick 6, looking great for tomorrow. It's just been an all-round team effort, you know, Evans Halshaw, Power Max Racing. We all gel, we all want the same goal. And that's really important, can't be undermined.
What are your thoughts looking ahead to tomorrow? Because qualifying is one thing, but the points come on race day.
I've got a bit more experience starting at the front now with Alton, where I had the pole, so you know, it's not new territory for me anymore, so I want to get a good start, get my head down, and top 5 would be great, and podium even better.
Fingers crossed for you for tomorrow. Right, I can hear Colin Turkington pulling up behind me. Let's see if we can dive in and grab a word with him as he... while he's getting out of the car, let's just go and grab a quick word with Aaron. Just a quick line. I mean, we saw you on the front row last year. Top 6, last time out. Yeah. Top 6 again. And both of you up there. Another good result for the team.
It's amazing. Like what Evan Halshaw have given both of us now is next level. You know, that's 3 top 6 shootouts in a row for me, which is pretty mad. So to be disappointed with 6 says a hell of a lot. But I'm delighted for the team as a whole. I think the two of us can work together tomorrow, and you never know. Like, there's 3 races, I want to win, so we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed for you. Right, excuse me if whilst we slide past, Colin Turkington has finally made it into Parc Fermé, and his helmet just coming off. So before you dive in and have a catch up with Dan and Louise, have a catch up with me, front row. Good job.
That was a really tough session. You know, it's when we reflect back, you know, maybe everybody was in the same boat, but we had a set of softs, new softs, saved over from previous rounds. So track was sketchy, obviously, Q1, so we put those on, and because the track was getting better and better, we hadn't taken much out of them, so they felt in a really good place, so we kept them on for Q2, and again, they were great. So then we had the decision, do we leave them on, go to a new medium or an old soft? So we stuck with what we knew, and good enough obviously for P2. So yeah, I'm happy, but slightly feel that we could have been a pole maybe if we had have went for the other sort of carryover set of softs which have less mileage on them. But it's a risk, you know, it's a risk going on I asked Dan where are these softs from. He said he didn't know, so that sort of put me off. Yeah, exactly. They were low mileage, but we didn't know where they were from, so sometimes you can put a set of tyres on and they just don't work. So we stuck with what we knew, and yeah, P2 is a great end result. And well, it's difficult out there, you know, because that's every lap you're trying to just nick a bit, find a bit, and obviously this is our first dry running. So you're experimenting, and some things you get wrong, and then the next lap you correct it. So really intense session. So yeah, did my best, and you know, it's nice to put the BMW on the front row. So good shape for tomorrow.
This new element that's been introduced this weekend of being able to carry over tyres from previous races, as you've just been intimating, it's adding a really interesting new element in for you and the engineering team as well, isn't it?
It really is, Louise, and the extra difficulty is you don't know what the others are going to do. You know, the other 20 cars up and down the pit lane. So, you know, I had a decision Q1. You know, we really wanted to go with the new medium tyre I had, and hopefully that would be enough to get me through to Q2. Then I can go soft, and go for a pole. But the risk is if I go medium Q1, everybody else goes soft, and you know, some people have like full hybrid, so it's so easy to be bumped out of Q1. When the car's potential for much more. So yeah, you have to roll the dice a bit and sort of think of loads of different scenarios. But yeah, I think we got it right. You know, we made the right calls. But the track's still tricky out there. You know, I would say it's 98% dry. You know, it's still easy to get caught out. You know, I had a few trips across the gravel and grass. Let's go. Different scenarios, but yeah, I think we got it right. You know, we made the right calls. But the track's still tricky out there. You know, I would say it's 98% dry. You know, it's still easy to get caught out. You know, I had a few trips across the gravel and grass, etc. So, you know, a slight millimetre off the dry line onto the wet line, and your history. So, but yeah, good session.
Good stuff. It was great to watch. Well done. We'll see you out there tomorrow. I can just see our current championship leader. So let's scoot up. Excuse us, Mikey, while we come on through. So I can grab a quick word with Tom Ingram, who had, as we saw last time out at Knockhill, slightly frustrating weekend. Still clinging on there at the top of the championship, though. And what a difference this qualifying result is to last time out at Knockhill, making it through to the quick six again. That must be a huge relief.
And especially in those circumstances as well with the conditions, because we were literally in the palm of the gods there going, what should we do? So it was tense. We went for the wet tyre in Q1, which we got through with. It was the safe option. Was it the faster option? No. In fairness, I don't think any of us really expected it to dry as quickly as it did. So it went from that first lap, I kind of went, I'd just probably about get away with this, to suddenly going, oh no, but you're already halfway around a lap, and then you fall out of sync. So I'll be honest, I think we were a little bit lucky in that first one, in that Q1, to get through and out of harm's way. So that was good. That was really, really good. And then obviously Q2, Q3, you know, we're up with the we're up at the pace and up at the sharp end, and that's where we start to then notice the lack of hybrid. So I probably sound like a broken record, and I probably sound very Jason Plato-esque by going, I've got no power, but we got no power when we got no hybrid. So it's one of those. I'm very pleased to be in the mix. It seems like Ash, Jake and I are going to be fairly close to each other tomorrow. Colin's obviously going to be fairly fast. There's going to be a few people in the mix. I think it's set to be quite a good race day.
Well, what are your thoughts looking ahead to tomorrow? As you say, P5 on the grid, no hybrid, got no power. What kind of result can you expect? You'll be hoping for a podium, but can you expect a podium from there?
Yeah, I mean, that would obviously be nice. Of course it would. We've obviously got to be fairly mindful of the people we're racing around us with Ash and Jake. We've obviously got to be mindful about trying to stay out of trouble. We're also got to be mindful about trying to pick up some big points over the course of the day. And I think a podium is on the cards. I'd like to think that's the case. But until we get into the race scenario, we just don't know. I think there's supposed to be a big, bright, shiny thing in the sky for most of tomorrow. That could also change. Of course, we're going to be going for maximum points. Of course we are. At this stage of the season, we've still got to be thinking of the big picture, but we've also still got to be racing, and we've still got to be thinking about getting as many points as we can.
Lovely. We will see you out there. That's all from us down here. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Louise. And gotta love Tom Ingram. I don't know who doesn't like Tom Ingram, to be fair. Okay, we have got to go, and you will be redirected to the F1 Academy race, which is currently on a red flag due to rain and is in a rain delay. You can join us in just over 20 minutes at 5 PM for IndyCar Portland Practice 2, and then at 8:30 for IndyCar Portland Qualifying, and then NASCAR heads to Daytona at midnight British Summer Time. All times are. That is early tomorrow morning. Josh Cook on pole for the 4th time, and the first time in a Toyota at Toyota's home race. Let's see if he can transfer it into a win tomorrow. See you then.